What is going on, you guys? This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Today, we're going to be talking about Winstrol. Winstrol is known to be a very good steroid for hardening, dryness. It's used in competition, and it's a pretty cool compound. It's not my favorite. I've tried it in the past or used it before. In my experience, personally, is it does give you a cool look if you take the dosage to the right amount. But what I would say is it's not really good in a off-season type thing where you're trying to put on size. And I don't really think it really fits any place ultimately, unless you're doing like maybe a photo shoot or you're drying up real to be really hard and lean for a competition. There's two types of Winstrol. There's oral, which you take it by mouth, and there is injectable. Now, the half-life on this compound, it lasts about 8 hours with oral administration, and with the injectable, it lasts like 24 hours. So typically in competition phases, believe it or not, a lot of them use the injectable. It's not very commonly used to see the oral. From what I understand, it seems to be phased out. And when you take this compound with injection, though, it does come with a pretty good pain. From what a lot of people say they get a lot of pain from it. PIP they call it, because it's a water based and it's really thick, and it kind of welts you up a little bit. Like it kind of can really leave you sore for a lot of people. But it is a DHT compound. It doesn't convert to estrogen. It does make you stronger. It does help with food nutrition partitioning. Okay, it is a very it's good if you want to be leaner. But what I don't like about it is even when I in the off season, like there's basically a rumor about it, like it dries your joints out, it does all this stuff, right? But that's really more because you're in a competition diet, and then you're taking diuretics, and it makes sure you're not taking in a lot of water, and you're not how do I put it, like the scenario that people give it, like for having all these problems like joints, dryness, and all that stuff. It's usually in a competition period is when that happens. Now, if you're in a regular situation where you're just going to the gym and you're just training, you really don't get that. You just really don't, because if you're taking other compounds like Deca or Test, they're gonna be putting some water in you, so it kind of like counteracts that. So that's like there's a lot of forums that's what I don't like about forums. They're misleading. What else can we say on this compound? We can say that it's one of those things that you can try it, but I just think that Anavar or Anadrol is just the better compound in a lot of ways for lifting and performance. Some people like Winstrol better than Anavar, because they like that tightness feeling. But when I took it or tried it, I just felt like drier. It's true, it dries you out, but I'm like, you're like more thirsty. You kind of it doesn't really give you like a certain like you gain performance in the gym, but other ways you're like, I don't feel so great on it for some reason. Like some people just you feel dehydrated, you need to drink more water. It's very toxic. I think it's more toxic than the way D-ball or Anadrol would make me feel. I'm just not a fan of it. Like, it's cool, but honestly, I'd rather be on like the Primobolan, because Primobolan gives you a nice hard look, or Masteron. It's kind of similar in a sense. You really don't need it to get a good look. So, it's there for a reason, because it does at higher dosages. Like people, I think they push like 200 to 300 milligrams at competition or something like that. But it's more like for a short period of time. It's like that week or something they might do it. It's not like they're doing it like all season to look good. They push the envelope, just on the days that really counts. So I I really wouldn't bother with this one too much unless you're like, trying to do like a photo shoot, or, you're doing something kind of fancy, there's really no need to use it. Masteron, Primo, Trend. I'd rather do that. So, even Trend, like low dosing it, 50 milligrams every 3 days would be better in my opinion. These are all, in theory. So, You know, like, and that's the thing, you know, you experiment with all this stuff, you learn what kind of works for you. Like, and not everybody looks the same on, like, you can give one compound to like 5 different people, and because they aromatize, you know, differently with estrogen and other things, they'll all have like a slightly different look. You know, it's just how it goes. But Winstrol is pretty cool. You know, you can use it in the off season, or you know, if you want to. If you're not trying to be like this huge monster, it will make you stronger. It'll make you faster. It'll do all that good stuff. But I just generally didn't like the feeling of dryness from it. Like, you know, you're like thirsty or a little parched kind of feeling. I guess maybe I didn't drink enough water, but you know, water is one of the key things when you're doing all this stuff. You really need to drink at least a gallon or two a day, you know, to keep hydrated. And I think that this compound just pushes you to like need a little bit more, even if you don't want to. I do think that it has a purpose. I just think it's more for the competitions. I don't think it's for the guy that just wants to look good. I really don't. Maybe I'll try it again sometime down the road, and maybe I'll have a second opinion. But when I did play around with it, it just wasn't really that. Didn't like fascinate me. Like I was like, ooh, I got to do this every time. You know, it's really not like that. You know, and I think you know, if you have to be under a certain fat percentage, I think for it to really shine even the way you want it to. So unless you're like cutting, it's just not there for me. It's not there. It's not. It doesn't serve my purpose. You know, I'll take Anadrol every day, or Anavar. You know, but dosages. We can talk about that a little bit. Anywhere between 50 to 80 milligrams for the oral is fine. Probably the same for the injectable. And the injectable, you actually don't even need as much because it lasts so long. The half-life, you probably could just get away with like 70 to 50 to 70 milligrams, and that would be pretty much, wouldn't even bother you, but you'll definitely notice it because it's working on you for so long. You know, and that's what's so great about it. It's just that the pip is kind of annoying. You know, I mean, being a bodybuilder is not fun. There's definitely a dark side to it. You know, all the pinning and all the, you know, even the micro pinning for like the peptides sometimes that you're taking. I just, you know, you try to alleviate that the best you can. It's really hard. You're like, oh, my shoulder's still stuff from the last one. My lat is killing me. Sometimes you're working out and you can't bend your arm because you know, it's a lot of stuff that these people like hide, you know, and you only see them videotaped when like they're perfectly fine in between all the pain that we have to kind of suffer to kind of, you know, when we're doing all this crazy shit, when we're trying to get bigger. But yeah, it's definitely like, it's like that. Okay. So yeah, this is Winstrol. I thought I'd do a quick video on it. Nothing too special about it. It won't give you gyno or anything like that, so you're good there. You definitely still need to do like a post-cycle therapy if you know. But if you're doing this stuff anyway, you should always be on TRT. You shouldn't. Don't even consider doing this unless you plan on being on test for the rest of your life, even at TRT dose. That's what I tell people, because ultimately, whenever you play with this stuff, you never fully recover the way you think you're going to. You know, that you always hear like, oh, I'm going to go on and then get off and then do it. You lose all your progress anyway. So you might as well just maintain it with a little bit of test if you go that route. Okay. And that's just how it goes, man. It's the game.